We're now going to discuss Buddhism. Unlike Hinduism, Buddhism was founded by a specific individual who is named Siddhartha Gautama. And the Buddha is actually not his name, but a title, which means the awakened one or the enlightened one. And importantly, as we'll see as we discuss the life story of Siddhartha, he did not see himself as a divine being, as a god. He merely saw himself as a human who had special insights into the nature of reality and wanted to share those insights with the rest of the world. So, according to tradition, Siddhartha Gautama was born into a very wealthy family. He was a prince, lived a life of luxury, and his father isolated him from all sorts of suffering. So he never met anyone who was sick or old or ugly. He had known nothing but pleasure his entire life. As a young man, though, he became curious, decided to travel outside the palace, and he encountered in a series of experiences an old man, a diseased man, a dead man, and a religious ascetic. And an ascetic is a person who engages in a sort of self-sacrificial spiritual discipline, that he deprives himself of worldly goods and pleasure, tries to live a very simple, austere, and demanding life in order to achieve spiritual enlightenment. So the Buddha attempted to follow this path. He renounced his wealth. He became an ascetic, wandering around northern India where he was born, and he tried various different techniques which were common at the time, ways of attempting to achieve enlightenment. He found that none of these worked, and he ended up rejecting them and instead adopted what he called the middle way, which is a form of moderation, rejecting both the asceticism, the self-denial and extreme self-sacrifice, but also rejecting excessive attachment, being self-indulgent and being too consumed with worldly things. So Siddhartha sat beneath a Bodhi tree and said he would not move from that position until he achieved enlightenment. He was attacked, according to tradition, by Mara, the god of death, and his daughters, who were named Discontent, Delight, and Desire. These are images of Siddhartha as an ascetic at the top, nearly starving himself to death, and images of him at the bottom beneath the Bodhi tree, resisting the power of evil and temptation. So the Buddha succeeded in achieving enlightenment, and then from that point forward, he was tempted to pass on to nirvana, which is a state of perfect peace and perfect bliss, but instead he decided to stay behind on earth because of his great compassion for his fellow beings, to spread his teaching. He gathered a large following, which became organized into the Sangha, which is the monastic community of monks who follow the Buddha's teachings. Then he died of food poisoning, actually, as an old man in 483 BCE. The life of the Buddha, the stories of his biography and his teachings, were not written down until many years, probably centuries, after his death. And so most scholars believe that although someone named Siddhartha Gautama did exist and did teach something which is reflected in the earliest Buddhist scriptures, the Lotus Sutra, nevertheless many sorts of legends and embellishments were added to his life, and so the life story as recounted by Buddhists is not completely accurate. These are just some more images of the Buddha preaching his first sermon and sending his followers out to spread his teachings throughout the world. So Buddhism originated in India, and in fact, as we'll see, shares a great deal in common with Hinduism in terms of its basic beliefs. And over time it became more popular. In the 3rd century BCE, the King Ashoka became a convert to Buddhism. He had previously been very warlike and belligerent. After this point, he embraced Buddhist teachings and became much more peaceful. and attempted to spread Buddhism. Then after that, subsequent rulers of India and different parts of India, some supported Buddhism, some opposed it and persecuted it, and so the popularity of Buddhism sort of waxed and waned throughout the centuries. Finally, by the 12th century, when the Muslims were first starting to arrive, Buddhism became basically extinct in India. But fortunately for Buddhists, it had spread broadly, especially in other parts of Southeast Asia, and so it survived, even though it became virtually eliminated in the country of its birth. In recent years, it has become somewhat more popular, although it's still at less than 1% of the Indian population, especially among untouchables, Dalits, because the Buddha rejected the caste system, said that anyone can achieve nirvana, and so for that reason it's very appealing to people who are outside